you. Friends, it's great to be back here in Birmingham. 7 years ago, I came to conference looking to lead the party north of the border. And I promised all of you that I would grow the Conservative family in Scotland. Well, never let it be said I haven't taken matters into my own hands. Comrades, there are plenty of things that I could talk to you about today. I could tell you about the fantastic work that our 31 MSPs are doing in Holyrood, day by day, holding Nicola Sturgeon's miserablest SNP government to account. I could let you know about the work our superb 13 Scottish Conservative and Unionist MPs are doing. I could show you that day by day, they are showing you can stand up for Scotland without walking out of the UK. Or I could talk for days about all of the unseen stuff, the work that our hundreds of councillors are doing every day for their communities across the country, showing that, contrary to our opponents' claims, Conservatism isn't alien to Scotland, but it is of Scotland. Friends, I could talk a lot about all of this. But actually, what I want to talk about isn't the day-to-day of parliamentary speeches or council chamber business. I want to talk about what matters. Things that, when you're about to step back from the front line, for a bit, as I'm about to do, are perhaps a little easier to see. And I want to make a plea to look beyond the sound and fury that passes for our politics right now, where the extremes get ever louder and the centre falls to silence, where more energy is expended on Twitter spats and below-the-line comments than on making it just that bit easier for those who come after. The people whose daily hopes and worries and aspirations should be at the heart of all that we do. People struggling for a deposit, or desperate to get home from work before the nursery closes, or looking to ensure they can receive enough social care to stay in their own home. These are the people that need to be first in our minds. And it's by focusing on their concerns that we do what's needed to bring this country back together. Because there is no point in pretending. The last 2 years have exposed some deep divisions in this country and in this party. And here's a safe prediction. In the days and weeks ahead, we're going to hear more of them. The fact is this: Brexit is happening, and one way or another, we need to sort this. So let me just address 3 issues today. First up, I want to deal with this question of another referendum. Because over the last few weeks, I keep being asked, Ruth, you voted Remain. Surely you'd welcome the chance to try and reverse the result. Why not back another vote? Why not join all of these other people who were happy to support a referendum when they thought that they'd win and are now crying foul and insisting we go through it all again? Well, here's the thing, conference. Those of us in Scotland have been at this for some time already. 4 years ago, the SNP told Scotland that they would respect the independence referendum result. And for 4 long years, they've been pushing and pushing and pushing to have another go and to keep going until they get the result that they want. And my response and the Prime Minister's response has been clear. The people of Scotland spoke, they said no, and it is time to move on. Well, the same message applies with Brexit. I don't get to stand here and profess myself a Democrat to declare that some decisions are so big they can't be taken by politicians alone, and then demand a rerun just because I wasn't on the winning side. And if I try to argue differently, to insist that one referendum result was sacrosanct and the other should be immediately overturned, well, that would make me just the worst kind of hypocrite. So whether you're Conservative or Labour, Leave or Remain, yes or no, we must respect the democratic choices that we make. We must respect those democratic choices that we make, or we undermine the very principles that we claim to uphold. Conference, I didn't get the result that I wanted in 2016, but you don't get to demand a rerun just because you didn't get what you want. That way leads to more division. It leads to more rancor and a politics that is trapped in the past. The people voted, and there is no way to bring this country back together that doesn't respect that vote. But here's the next thing. These two referenda that I've fought over the last decade have made one thing obvious. Binary choices divide us into camps. And now, across the UK, the danger as we enter this crucial period in our nation's history is that we become too entrenched to reach across the aisle in search of common ground. That our division on one issue prevents us from making common cause on others. And friends, as we approach these crucial few weeks and months, we need to go back to our conservative principles. The principles of country, of duty, of practicality, and of delivery. The belief that every prudent act is based on accommodation and accord, and that the best is the enemy of the good if it stops us improving the outcomes for the country. The attitude that listens, eyebrows raised, to ivory-towered schemes of the ideological Puritan and replies, "Aye, right." It is this practical, pragmatic, and utterly conservative approach that will get us through. Because when the future of the country is at stake, it is essential. And here's the truth. We can agree a Brexit deal under the Conservatives, or we can risk handing the keys of Downing Street to Jeremy Corbyn. And I know which one of these I believe is in the national interest, and I stand by our Prime Minister. And lastly, if we want to sort this, let's remember this too. 2 years ago in July, standing on the steps of Downing Street, Theresa May gave her first address as Prime Minister. And she mentioned something that people tend to forget. It's that the full title of our party is the Conservative and Unionist Party. And she said, "That word unionist is very important to me." Well, me too. Yes, ensuring a future relationship with the EU is important and indeed vital for our country's future. Yes, we must show our friends and allies across the continent that we intend to remain the open, engaged, responsible nation that we have always been. But let us never lose sight of the fact that the union that's most important to us is our own. That union of Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And let us remember, too, that across the UK there are those who are working day by day to break up that union and who believe that a chaotic Brexit will help. And let's remember this also, that the rock upon which this party is founded is a belief in the unity of this country and the enterprise of its people. So let's commit to making this our number one priority, to make sure that the union, our union, emerges stronger, not weaker, from these next few weeks, because that is what matters most. And conference. So conference, we sort this by respecting the democratic result. We sort it by using our conservative values of putting the national interest first. And we sort it by always, always keeping our eye on the most important prize of all, keeping our country together. And if we get that right, then let's remind ourselves where it leads. It leads to a Conservative government getting on with the job, to a Conservative government doing what we always do, getting more people into work, fixing the public finances, supporting people off of welfare, cutting taxes for the lowest paid, helping businesses thrive, sorting out the mess that we've been left by a Labour government, and getting Britain back in the black. I know that there is some debate right now about how we respond to Mr. Corbyn's Labour Party. Well, here's my advice, folks. Just leave him to his Labour takeover. Let him crack on with all those 9-hour-long meetings of the National Executive Committee that he seems to love. Let him get on with compositing motions and allowing deselections of long-serving members. Let him spend his time on that. And instead, let us get on with facing up to the challenges of the 21st century which need our attention by tackling the housing crisis, sorting out planning laws, and delivering new affordable homes so young people starting out in life can buy their first house. By improving childcare, making it more flexible, freeing up hours so that people can juggle work and family life more easily. By boosting school standards, putting head teachers in charge, championing vocational qualifications so there is an education system that works for all. And by delivering security in old age, putting our NHS on a firm footing so that healthcare supported through work can be accessed in retirement. And let's do it not just in England and Wales, but let's do it in Scotland too. Because people keep asking me, do you seriously think that you can beat the SNP? Well, damn right I do. Because Scotland has had enough of the negativity, of the grievance, of the decade-long moan. Instead, we want to crack on. So yes, there is a job that I'm after, and that job is of First Minister of Scotland. And the reason is because I want to lead the country and leave the SNP's decade of division behind us, and instead to move forward, to restore our education system, to make us the real northern powerhouse, and to build the homes that our young people deserve, with a clear goal in mind, to make Scotland the best place in the UK to live, to work, and to raise a family. Conference, I am tired of talking about the Constitution. I want to get on and boost the country that I love, to focus on what matters to people's lives. A decent job, a home of your own, time for your family, security in retirement. It doesn't sound like much, does it? But for too many people in our country, it remains a dream that's out of reach. So let's get behind the Prime Minister so that she can get Brexit done, so that we can throw all our energies on making that dream come true for everyone in this country. That is the real challenge before us. So together, let's all rise to meet it. Thank you. My friends, before I go, I've got one more duty to perform. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome the new leader of the Welsh Conservatives to the stage. I don't know if any of you watched his unveiling. It was like the best Welsh rugby commentary I'd ever heard. Byron Davies announces that Paul Davies has triumphed over Susie Davies to replace Andrew R.T. Davies. But Paul took his Preseli Pembrokeshire seat off the Labour Party in 2007, and he's never looked back. He is a true servant of the party. He is a champion of Wales. I look forward very much to working with him in the future. So, conference, please give a big welcome to Paul Davies AM.